car sharing initiative from Ford called GoDrive in London. I'm very excited to be in this role at a time when the automotive industry is facing massive disruption and change, because it's stimulating significant innovation and fresh thinking. So a little bit of background. Henry Ford believed in mass mobility. He's been mentioned a couple of times already today. The Model T was more than a car. It allowed people to choose where to work and where to live. However, in societies across the globe, that freedom of movement is currently under threat. So our world is growing rapidly more urban, and in decades to come, around 75% of the world's population will live in cities. This huge growth is putting our global transportation infrastructure under enormous pressure, and it needs to be rethought. Closely linked to congestion is the issue of air quality and related health risks. The World Health Organization and others have noted that urban air pollution is a serious social and public health issue. Consumer attitudes are also changing. It's been mentioned several times as well today, that the rise of the sharing economy and the presence of instant information and on-demand services through smartphones are changing the way that consumers demand products and services. Millennials are delaying marriage, starting a family, and buying homes and cars. At the beginning of the year, Ford shared its Smart Mobility Plan to help us play our role in keeping people moving. We announced 25 global mobility experiments to allow us to try out new ideas, build new partnerships, to learn, fail, discover. The experiments cover multiple geographies, as can be seen on the map. They cover multiple technologies and different modes of transport, including a connected e-bike and a smarter parking scheme to ease congestion. Some of the experiments have now concluded, others are moving from experimentation and into implementation. Like all other global challenges, the sustainable mobility challenge cannot be addressed by one organisation. There is no silver bullet, there's no single solution. And throughout the experiments, we're working with partners, customers and cities to help us solve parts of the puzzle. So co-creation has been an important tool, understanding the needs of urban commuters and jointly coming up with the ideal user experiences. Collaboration with partners, both big and small, understanding where each has their role to play in contributing to the solutions. And integration with cities and existing transport networks, understanding individual cities' needs as comprehensively as we understand the needs of the travellers within them. And GoDrive has been a successful example of all three of these. Launched in London, it's a platform for learning within the car sharing space. We've been working with the city to understand how car sharing can complement existing transport systems and listening to Londoners to help us design a service that better suits their needs. It provides a new, on-demand, urban personal mobility solution with a fleet of Focus Electrics and low-emission Fiesta EcoBoost vehicles positioned around London at hubs for on-demand shared use for one-way or return journeys. The project has many learning objectives, including understanding if a scheme such as GoDrive can help contribute to a solution addressing the trends I mentioned earlier. So firstly, looking at that younger demographic. So what we found is actually the scheme has proved to be particularly popular amongst the younger demographic, still attracted to the freedoms that car usage can provide. They associate having a car within the city with greater independence and as an enabler to do more varied activities. However, for some, and for many practical reasons, ownership is simply not an option. They value the flexibility of an on-demand car-sharing service and the lack of scary penalties and supplements that traditional car hire can come with. We've also been looking and exploring the attitude to electric vehicles and how potential barriers can be addressed. As part of the experimentation, we've made access to our petrol and electric vehicles completely equal, same pricing, same in-car technology. And we've been pleasantly surprised with the uptake of the electric vehicles, with their popularity increasing as the scheme's been running. With 46% of all rentals to date, when both types of vehicle were available, being in an electric vehicle. We've seen them being particularly popular with the 31 to 40 demographic, where people are both comfortable with technology and with driving. And we've been learning about some of the barriers to adoption for the younger demographic, including some myths and preconception that simply need busting. Once people have tried an EV, they love them, and 97% say they will use one again. And this is a great example of how car clubs can help meet cities' objectives for air quality, both in terms of providing electric vehicles within their fleets, but also as an entry point for consumers, so they can become comfortable and familiar with new technology in a low-risk way ahead of potential future purchase. So that was a very brief snapshot into the mobility challenge and our approach into tackling it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Alicia, Alicia Agius, GoDrive project.
Okay, so we have